On Wednesday evening, appearing in an interview on social media with colleague Member of Parliament Sherrod Duncan, Opposition Chief Whip Christopher Jones stated that he abided by the quarantine guidelines set out by the Ministry of Health and therefore was guided by same when he attended the reconvening of Parliament on Tuesday.
And of course, the new protocol that has been put out by Frank Anthony is that if you are in 10 days of isolation with no symptoms, then an additional 3 days in isolation with no symptoms, then you are cleared or you don't need to do a second test. That is publicized by him last week.
The Opposition Chief Whip further spoke to when the COVID-19 test was administered to him against the backdrop of the designated period of quarantine, as he claims had been outlined by the Health Ministry.
When you count from when I did my test right on to yesterday in the sitting of the Assembly, was past the 13 days. And it is because of the statement that he had put out in terms of their new protocol, that is how we were guided. I think somebody was telling me today that in a DPI post, he made reference that we were told, quote, we were told not to attend Parliament and so forth. Absolute lie.
Jones further stated that the government has now seemingly weaponized itself by revealing his medical information to the public without his consent. The Chief Whip also noted that this signals a negative outlook on the health sector, as persons may now be reluctant to get screened for a number of medical examinations, since they may fear their medical history and records being released without prior consent. Meanwhile, in an interview with the Department of Public Information, Public Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony made similar remarks to that of Minister of Governance Gail Teixeira, who on Tuesday evening said that Jones had committed an offense based on the Public Health Act of Guyana. The minister reminded of that law during his discourse.
First of all, we have to understand that we have an order in place and we also have a public health law. That law clearly states that if anybody knowingly spread an infectious disease, then they're committing an offense.
The minister noted that Jones could have attended the parliamentary proceedings virtually, as systems had been put in place to do so, and given that the clerk of the National Assembly had also advised persons to use this channel if they had suspected that they might have been exposed to the virus.
The Parliament and the clerk of the Parliament 2 days ago put out a letter to all members of Parliament to clearly state that if you have COVID-19, that you shouldn't attend the Parliament in person, but you can do so virtually.
Meanwhile, in a post on his Facebook page, Attorney General Anil Nandlal had bashed the duo Christopher Jones and Sherrod Duncan for appearing in the 12th Parliament while knowingly carrying the highly infectious virus. The Attorney General further noted that were it not for parliamentary immunity, they may have committed criminal offences in the House by the violation of the COVID-19 guidelines. Wendell Badrie for the HGP Nightly News.